Hi, I'm Chris Yates of Iceberg Building Physics, and I just witnessed this today. This is a car park stairwell, a stair core, and as you can see it's dripping wet. Now at first I thought that there was some ventilation problem, maybe a dodgy contractor had terminated the ductwork for a fast food joint into this space, but this isn't the case. It is ventilation related, but nothing to do with dodgy ductwork. The phenomenon is called warm front condensation. So what's going on here? We've had several days of cold, and now the weather has suddenly warmed and become more humid. A warm front has come, and this is a concrete structure. It's heavy. It's not just heavy to pick up, it's what we might call thermally heavy. It has a kind of inertia when it comes to temperature, so it's slow to cool down and slow to heat up. So after a long cold spell, when a warm weather front meets a heavyweight structure like this, we get condensation. It's a bit like when you get a cold can of Coke out of the fridge on a summer's day, it gets condensation on the outside. Warm air can hold a lot of water vapour, but if that warm air meets a cold surface, we get condensation. So this is a well-ventilated space, but in this case the ventilation has actually made it worse. This isn't condensation from people breathing, like you might get on the inside of the windows of a bus or a train. It's water that's actually been brought in by the outside air. It's raining outside, so the humidity is high today. In 9 out of 10 cases, it's actually a lot better to ventilate more to reduce condensation and risks like mould or damp. But this is the one time when it isn't better to ventilate more. Other heavyweight structures have these problems, so old stone buildings, especially in places like Scotland, have this problem. Caves, if you compare the same cave in summer and winter, you'll probably find that it's much wetter in the summer. And cellars or basements are another case. I have some local weather data from the past 36 hours. It includes the air temperature, the outside air temperature, the dew point temperature, so that's the kind of temperature at which a surface might form condensation, and some other things like the relative humidity, wind speed, and etc. etc. So I've graphed this out. Let's just scroll across. Okay. I can't get this in the centre of the page. So that's the outdoor air temperature and the outdoor dew point temperature in blue and orange respectively, and then I've kind of graphed out my guess for the temperature of the concrete structure, and the concrete structure will respond a lot more slowly. It'll track the outdoor temperature with some kind of lag of of a number of hours, depending on how heavy it is. But at a certain point, and it's quite unusual for the temperature to change this rapidly, the outdoor temperature to change this rapidly. But we get to a certain point where the temperature of the concrete will cross the dew point, and we'll get an increase in condensation. If we went through the data, this is the past 36 hours, but there are a number of things. I mean, it's coinciding with quite high relative humidity, rain intermittently, it's just damp outside, but also interestingly, it's actually quite, the wind speed is quite high, so this is kind of driving ventilation in the structure. It's quite an open structure, but it'll exchange air. It'll have more air changes with the outdoor air, and this will exaggerate the effect. So I guess what can be done really, that's the final question. So for this structure, I would actually attempt to reduce the ventilation. I'd just try and close it up, close the doors as much as possible, close any windows. I'd obviously use a mop, get it all mopped up and as dry as possible, and then just wait until it warms up a bit. If you're at home, or you're in if you've got a cellar or a stone house, then I'd run a dehumidifier really. That's probably the simplest thing that you can do. Anyway, I hope that's been mildly informative. It's the kind of thing that I find interesting and keeps me awake at night, but I think that probably sends most people to sleep. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye for now.